Welcome back from the break, and many thanks for keeping it Smart 24 TV, and you're watching Smart Men's Business, your daily Kickstarter. And let's kickstart off the hour of 8 a.m. with our business tip of the day. And the business tip says, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the result of other people thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuitions. They somehow already know what they truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. So, and most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuitions. Sometimes you get to realize that they somehow really know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. So your time is limited. Don't waste it on to living, or don't waste it trying to live someone else's life, because you should not be trapped by the dogma, which is living with the result of other people's kind of mentality or what other people think about you. It is time for you to at least live your life the way it is supposed to be lived. That is according to what the tip is telling us this particular morning. Everything else will come secondary. You should become your first priority and try to live within your possible means, not trying to live within other people's means. And if you're driving your business as well, try to at least do the business according to your will and according to the best way or the best industry practice, not focusing on what your neighbor is doing, because sometimes you may fail to execute it as the person you're competing with. Besides that, now let's also get some motivation with our business quote this morning. So Peter Drucker says that the best way to predict the future is to create it. That is according to Peter Drucker, that the best way to create the future is to create it. The best way to predict your future is to create it, according to what Peter Drucker has to say. So you should not be into the journey of pursuing or at least dreaming about the future rather than trying to create it yourself. So in the simpler terms, create that future for yourself instead of dreaming about the possibility of this particular future. So if you want to at least see something coming in place or being put into place, then create that future for yourself as an individual. It goes back to the kind of mindset you have, also your daily practices, and also how you are leading life or living life currently at this level of doing things. But well, besides that same kind of situation, we now switch our eyes to the social media trends and see what the timeline has got to say in regards to the NSSF saga. Now, there's something happening at NSSF, and of course, everybody has got their say in regards to one, the reappointment of the former managing director, Richard Biarugaba, who is likely not to return as managing director, according to all signs that are coming up. And then not only that, most of the Ugandans are claiming that it seems the government wants to rob off their money. I did mention claims which are uncoordinated for now or without evidence as of yet. But of course, everyone on social media has got their own opinion regarding the same kind of situation. And this is what we are looking at in our social media trends this particular morning today. Now, Lucky Mbabazi, a media personality, says that I'm hearing some unpleasant things about our NSSF money, and that is not sitting well with my spirit. That is according to what Lucky Mbabazi had to tweet about the same kind of situation with NSSF. Then Tony Otoa at comrade_Otoa with this particular one saying, what bothers me is the fact that the so-called workers' union representatives and the workers' members of parliament are mute about the NSSF UG impact. Workers deserve better representations as soon as possible. Workers unite after NSSF. That is according to Tony Otoa. And then Elijah Chitaka says that at this point, the only thing stopping a run on NSSF is the strict cash out eligibility criteria. Now, confidence is that an all-time low, given a chance, many would cash out immediately, myself included, while the deliberate determination to leave no institution standing, Uganda, with an exclamation at the end of that tweet is Elijah Chitaka. Now, Hillary Bamulinde at HB Bamulinde with the tweets, current NSSF shenanigans can only mean a lot of goodwill built over the years, which attracted many voluntary sellers, will be lost. Now, many will seek alternative investment avenues, and as a country, we're really good at this. Then Bernard Sabiti says that this attempted NSSF piece by the junta might be the catalyst that awakens those so-called elites. You might count me among them, who lie unbothered in their ugly semi-finished Nigeria Chanja mansions, while desperate young Ugandans face live bullets, asking for a just country. So Bernard Sabiti trying to say that this time around, it seems that even the so-called elites, and of course the corporates, may be part of the people who will call in for an industrial action. Now, Damanzo Kandenje at D. Kandenje, replying to Bernard Sabiti, says, I was in the final stage of transferring my retirement benefits from an international savings group to NSSF. Factually, I had written to NSSF with my intentions. However, with this haste, I immediately poured cold ice on my idea. Abashigugu kabisa. That is according to Damaso Kandenje on Twitter at D. Kandenje on that particular issue dealing with NSSF saga. Now, Out of Brian 2 with imagine spending almost your whole life working in the matrix. Then some guys come to studio NSSF savings. That is according to what Out of Brian 2 had to say on that matter to do with NSSF. That is on the social media trends. Following up still more, JJ Odair at Josh JJ2 says, when we talk about poor governance, broken health system, crippling economy, suffocating education system, the working class are always quiet because they can afford a fair life. Now they are also worried of their retirement savings at NSSF. We shall all feel the heat. Wake up. That is according to JJ Odair at Josh JJ2 with that particular tweet yesterday on the matters dealing with the NSSF saga. So mentioning about what is coming in at this particular moment. But of course, the proceedings and all the reactions coming in with the NSSF, we shall be giving you more details as we dig deeper to understand what is happening at the National Social Security Fund in the country. Now, besides that, let's get back to our business updates this particular morning. And this time on, we head to the Uganda Road Funds, which has apparently appeared before the Finance Committee to at least also have their say on the budget framework paper which was released. Now, the roads are one of the most expensive assets for the country, and when you look at every financial year, there is always a budget that is actually allocated to the road maintenance or as well as road construction. Now, there's also an issue to do with the Uganda Road Fund's budget has apparently deteriorated, and according to the officials from the Uganda Road Fund, they do believe that this particular one, the budget allocations deteriorate every financial year. So they appeared before Parliament, that is on the Finance Committee on the budget framework paper, and this is what we gather for you.
I'd like to emphasize that the matter we are dealing with, roads are arguably our most expensive asset as a country, at 30 trillion Uganda shillings, or around 8 billion US dollars. It is the most expensive asset that we own as a country, and it supports so many sectors of the economy. Without roads, when roads go badly, we're really wasting people's time. It is very, 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 very fundamental. I won't go over the history of the economics behind it, but if you don't prioritize roads or their maintenance, you pay more. And you're already seeing the effects of the decisions we made in Q1 of this financial year. They're starting to go in now, and we are watching, because we did warn at the time when we were making decisions. We warned and we were shut up. Now we are facing the music and we're trying to panic. So the roads are our biggest assets, and we should be mindful of that. Paragraph number 2 on the first page. Yes, fellow parliamentarians, you remember, saw it right, and you established the Uganda Road Fund. It was very clear. After thorough research and benchmarking, you saw the need for a road fund, and you passed the law. It was acceded to, and we've got a road fund in place. And the road fund has been operating for the last 13 years. The last paragraph of this paper, page 1, addresses the subject matter that the previous speaker did tackle a bit about the issue of funds, special funds. This issue was resolved long time ago. I don't know why we end up doing things in circles. Attorney General gave his opinion. The law is very clear. A road fund exists, should be operationalized. So when people say we're doing all regulatory impact assessment, we're going for a retreat, we're calling all this for a retreat, I mean, are we really serious in what we're doing? It is very clear. Those people who were going through the law knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. And Parliament again on 12th May told Minister of Finance, operationalize the road fund. It's very clear. If we don't operationalize the fund, it's okay. Let us face the consequences of the potholes. So if we face the consequences of the congestion, the potholes, let us accept the consequences of not operationalizing the road fund. The second page, I won't go through the issues in detail, but everybody knows the effect on the roads. And the road fund money is one of the two things that even reaches the sub-county level, and someone at the sub-county feels it. There's no Ugandan who does not feel the impact of the road fund, unless you are flying in the air. But if you touch ground, if you walk on our roads and you've ever driven, the road fund will affect you in one way or another. So in the middle of that page 2, problem number 1, the Uganda Road Fund draws its budgetary funds for road maintenance from the consolidated fund through parliamentary appropriations. This limits the road fund. There's so many ways the road fund could be having its budget money increased. I mean, around 7 years ago, at that time the minister was Vyandala. I think they agreed 100 shillings a litre. And then the money was increased. The following year, what was increased was removed. Gradually, money is being removed. You know, so effectively for the last 4 years, the network is increasing in length, traffic volumes are increasing, fuel cells are increasing, but the reverse is occurring for the road fund budget. So what sort of economics is this? You know, a road fund is there for pay for service. You pay, you maintain your roads. And here, economists running the country, economists are doing the opposite. So I just don't understand whether, you know, it's practical economics or we're just doing things for the sake of doing things. So the road fund's way of getting money is very clear. If you put your money in the roads, repair them, then you have good roads. If you don't, you lose. But if the fuel cells are going up, vehicle usage is going up, and the budget of maintenance is going down, I think I'll leave that to you to work out more details. Number 2, the URF is not operationalized as a second generation road fund, therefore unable to mobilize what we call the road user charges. I won't go into details about the difference between road user charges and road usage charges. There are two different words, road user charges and road usage charges. I'll give an example. A road user charge, if a toll road, for example, this gentleman of PPP, you're talking about Entebbe Expressway, when you pay that, that is a road user charge. Okay? A road usage charge is for you to have the benefit of using the road. We pay for water. I don't see people complaining paying for water. We pay for water. Everybody pays for water to a degree. We all pay for our mobile phones, telephony. But everybody likes to use the roads for free without paying. Only way of getting money for roads is through the fuel levy and so on. Problem number 3, because of the inadequate funding, the backlog is increasing. The backlog, the need for the roads to maintain is increasing. I'm sure most of you have moved around Kampala the last few months. You've noticed how the network has deteriorated so much. Its outdoor network is deteriorating. These are the effects of the decisions that were made in Q1. Q1, roads punish very fast when rains come. If you don't invest $1 now, it costs $3 later on. This is the basic economics of road maintenance. Problem number 4, there's effects of climate change, which I won't go into details. Everybody knows about that. Problem number 5, there's a lot of interest in building new roads at the expense of maintenance. Yes, it's good to have new roads, especially for equity where areas are not accessible. But if you don't allocate funds scientifically, for example, at the moment, the budget allocation is usually about 90% new road development. I'm talking about road sector budget, split between new roads and maintenance. 90% new roads, 10% maintenance. That figure for maintenance should come up gradually as the economy grows. So problem number 6, we're the ones who created our problem of these roads. Problem number 6, historically we've had so much interest in new roads despite the economics justifying something different. But every time, new roads. The ones that are already there are collapsing. So that's another issue.
All right. Now, the Uganda Road Fund does say that every financial year the budget allocation deteriorates, or there is a slight decrease of the funds that are supposed to be attached to the budget. But yet, there is desire to at least have a road maintained every financial year. And of course, there are some constituencies, for example, in the country, that is up country, will also still seek for road construction or a new road to be established in their areas. But well, besides that, as more updates come up this particular morning, we now look at the other committee before the budget framework paper, the finance committee on the budget framework paper, which was released. This particular one is the public-private partnerships unit performance. How did it perform in 2022? And of course, is there something when it comes to the budget allocation for 2023, 2024? How much do they believe is needed? Because there is a requirement that they believe an additional 5 billion shillings may be necessary for them. Is it a viable call? Let's have more details coming in from this one.
Initially, we used to get a bit of money is released as part of the sub-unit within the unit of the Ministry of Finance. But in 2021 or 22, we had the one line of 2 billion. That's how bad our story was. But Mr. Chairman, in 2022-23, were enhanced, and wage was separated from non-wage, and our total was 3.5. Mr. Chairman, this has been retained for this year, we believe, and Mr. Chairman, it's really hardly enough to help us do the work. Mr. Chairman, we have activities, as I've mentioned above, but we also have other activities that have not been funded. For example, the one of mainstreaming PPPs has not. This particular committee and the Committee of Infrastructure, where we are supposed to relate closely, we've never undertaken or held a single training or sensitization for a committee which is supposed to be doing the oversight of this. And this is a huge work. This is infrastructure and the services. Back in the days, Mr. Chairman, we did, and I think Honorable Nanda Ramafabi, who is here, may recall, but again, that was the formative stages of coming up with the law. But now in the implementation, we do not have anything to speak to, particularly so with the oversight. Mr. Chairman, there's another, in the law, there's something called the Project Development Facilitation Fund. Again, the members of Parliament then realized that for us to be able to move to do projects the way I've explained earlier, we needed a fund to study those projects so that we have a bank of projects that we can go to the market and present to investors. But Mr. Chairman, what has happened is that the Act created the fund. The fund exists in name, but it has never received a shilling. So it has not been operationalized. And that's the weakness, because again, Mr. Chairman, that means we'll rely a lot more on the ministries if they budget for studies, which they hardly do, and therefore the exposure remains the same. That you get a project, for lack of an example, you get Lubowa Hospital, it comes, and all of a sudden you are at the whims of the proposer. You do not have your studies to justify the project costs and so on. Mr. Chairman, we thought that if we got seed money, even if it's 5 billion, this would unlock the funding. The law, the Parliament then explained that we could use the PDFF and populate PDFF differently. So part of it would be appropriation, and that's why we think this seed money would be a good one, because, Mr. Chairman, the little effort we've done, we've had the partners willing to put money for project development. Mr. Chairman, as you know, there are areas where we come from, all of us, where there is a lot of money that's available for climate fund, there's a lot of money for green funding, and so on. But we are not tapping into that because we refused or failed to put seed money. What these monies would do, our partners have told us that they are willing to put in grants. I know the appetite for loans is limited, but they are willing to put in grants as long as we put in seed money. So our humble request out of this meeting would be, if we can put seed money there, then we unlock. The other thing, Mr. Chairman, the law also provided that we can put levies on projects. So we create a revolving fund. So if we do a project like for lack of an example, but a PPP project, Kampala-Jinja Expressway, it was 1 billion. $1.5 billion. If we did that project, we could charge a fee for the successful bidder, the contractor, as a levy going towards PDFF, so that then we are able to do the other road, heading to another place, and another one, and another one. So we will then grow this fund, and it will be self-sustaining going forward.
Is to do with the budget framework paper for the public-private partnerships units performance. There is a need for an additional budget, and of course they do believe that on the long run you get to realize every sector now at the end of the day is seeking for an additional budget, at least budget from the Ministry of Finance, as we are waiting to see what will be the final budget for the financial year 2023-2024 that will be allocated to the different sectors, or how much money will be put aside. The financial year kicks off 1st July 2023. And well, that is it, and that is taking us to a break. But besides that, for you just to quickly be reminded that now the Zabu markets are open. It is already past 15 o'clock, past 15 in the morning, and it's 8:23 so far. So that means the markets are open already. The markets open at 8:15 a.m. So use the USSD code *292#. Follow the prompts and register with Zabu. Zabu is a platform by Altex East Africa which says do something new. *292#, that is the USSD code. The amount of money that you can quickly use to invest is 15,000 as the minimum amount. So you can definitely invest in government bonds, definitely there with Zabu. All you need to do is to register with your NIN, and of course in the next 24 hours you'll be able to invest in government bonds. And please note that these markets close at 3:15 p.m. They are fully closed though over the weekends and on public holidays, but the rest of the times they are open. Zabu, my money, my future. Altex East Africa, do something new. After the break, we will go on to see the latest coming in from the world of sports business this morning, and also what is happening from entertainment business with Barigi Andrew. So stick around, lots of business information coming up shortly after.